What's up, guys? If your ATV's cut out power or lost power during a ride, you need to check this out. Okay, today we're going to talk about a couple different reasons that your ATV might be either cutting out power completely or losing power on your ride. We're going to start from the most basic and the easiest fix to a little bit more complicated. We've had two issues. Both of those were Sportsman 850. One was a 2023 and one's a 2018. They all work about the same, and a lot of the ATVs have similar problems. Number one, if your key ring has any other keys, get those off. The other keys would slightly move it. It wouldn't turn it all the way off, but it would trick it just enough and keep shutting it off and losing power. That's the easiest. Number one, if you have other keys on your key ring, get them off. Number two, on the other Sportsman 850, this is the 2018 touring version. When I was riding, it kept cutting out power. I had no idea why. Here's the top three things to check before you start going crazy. Usually pretty decently easy of a fix. Number one, check your air filter. If you're not getting a lot of air to the fuel system, then it could be cutting out and you could be losing power. And I'll show you where to do that here. For your air system, you want to take off your seat. And it's going to be different just depending on what model you have, what ATV you have. But for the Polaris Sportsman 850 SP Touring version, it's pretty simple. Your air filter sits in here. You just pop this off, this comes right off. And then this comes up, and then this all just comes out. I'll do it real quick. And then your air filter sits right inside there. It's good practice to clean this out multiple times in the season, depending on how many times you use it. If it's damaged, you need to replace it. But it's a pretty easy fix. Number two, if you're not getting the right spark, it could be your spark plugs. You have two spark plugs on the Polaris Sportsman 850s, and they're on the right side of your spark plugs, which are the next easiest thing to change and to check and repair, and you should be replacing these anyways. On the 850, it's on the right side. You need to take the plastic off. So there's a bolt here, a couple plastics down here, one down there, and then this whole section comes off over this handle, and then they're sitting right here. Okay, so I tried those. After I cleaned the air filter, it helped a little bit, but it was still having the same issue. Then I changed both the spark plugs. I took them out, they were black. I figured that had to be the problem. It might be your problem, but it was not my problem. So going to the third one, I kept searching, trying to figure out what was going on, and found that it was probably a fuel filter. A lot of ATVs have a similar feature where the fuel filter is actually connected to the fuel pump. Now the fuel pump sits inside your fuel tank. This is a little bit more complicated of a fix, but that's what my problem was. The fuel filter sits on the very bottom of this fuel pump in an L shape, and it was gummed up. If you ever have bad gas, dirty gas sitting in there, get some dirt in there, a lot of different ways that it can happen, but it can gum up that fuel filter and make it so the fuel's not getting up to the pump and making it so you're losing power during your ride. This is basically how you take off and change your fuel filter. There's a lot of good videos out there. In general, this is how you do it, but it's going to vary per machine that you have. Replacing your fuel filter is not terribly complicated. You need to get the plastics off here, get the plastics off the front, and then remove the plastics right here. So the plastic's not too hard, just follow around. You have all these little bits that come out. There's a special tool for it, or you can take it out with just a couple ply or a couple flathead screwdrivers. Once you get the plastics off, down here, you got the same thing. Couple up top, one on the bottom. Looks like my one on the bottom is missing. Your fuel tank is sitting right behind here. Once you get these plastics off, there's two bolts that are holding your fuel tank on. There's one right here, and then the other one sits kind of right in the middle. I believe it's a 10 millimeter. It's a little bit harder to get to. But once you have the plastics off, you can see it. You take those two bolts off, and the goal is to move your gas tank over to the right, and it only goes about 2 inches. Once you're able to remove that and get the gas tank loose, you pull it this way to the right of the vehicle, about 2 inches, and then on the top of the fuel tank, there, I don't know if you can see it, but this is a little cover for it. There's another lid. There's 2 caps, one where you put the fuel in and then one where the fuel cap or the fuel pump goes. Once you can push it over to the right to get access to the fuel pump, then the fuel pump just it screws out on the top and you pull it out, and remember it's one big L. There's some good videos. I can make one in the future here, but the fuel pump is likely an issue that you'll be having if you're losing power. Well, if you're losing power while riding, I would definitely try those steps. Do the easy ones first. Check your key, make sure it's not accidentally turning it off. Check your air filter, make sure it's not clogged up. Check your spark plugs, make sure you're getting a good spark. And then it could be your fuel filter in your fuel pump. Not a horrible fix. It's about $100 on Amazon or wherever you get your parts. Anyway, hope you found that this was helpful. Give us a follow and watch for more videos. Thanks.